Hey, today we're back at the British Boutique Guitar Festival and we are checking out a Lighthouse Instruments and welcoming our great guest Ben McGinty. Why Lighthouse?
For me, it was one of those things that, as much as my last name is McGinty, it's quite common for small companies to have initials or their name associated with their instruments themselves.
Yeah.
In Scotland and especially in Ireland, McGinty tends to be more associated with the folk world.
Right.
And for me, as much as I've got the utmost respect for people that make mandolins, fiddles, anything like that, there's a lot of technicality that goes into it. And I was making a big jazz guitar, and I was like, do you know what, the headstock, it's got a lovely taper to it, and it was a fatter version of this that kind of had a bell top to it rather than this kind of sort of slimmer version, I guess. And I made a complete Lighthouse inlay for that with the woods I used throughout the whole thing. So I meant to bring it down today, but I had a bit of an issue that I needed to sort out and I didn't have a chance to.
As you know, I've got a little bit of a problem with my hand at the moment, and so it was difficult for me to play at the BBGF. So the others have kindly said I can cut in some of their footage to do the instruments a little bit more justice. This is hand carved.
It's all hand carved, so I use a router for the pickup cavities and the initial shape.
Yeah.
Everything else is done by gouge and chisel.
Wow.
I thickness the wood by plane, everything's
Proper
done.
old style.
And it's something to do with the fact of the space. I work in my spare bedroom where my fiance also works as our corporate office job as well.
No way.
So it's bits and pieces of trying to do a lot with what you can without a lot of noise being in the same place.
Yeah.
But going even to like the aspects of inlay work on the fretboard, on the headstock, any little parts, even kind of the cutaway aspects of things, I want to know that everything I'm doing because I wanted to do it that way, and I know exactly why I've done it that way. Machines are fantastic and they're incredibly useful, but I'd like to know exactly why I'm doing it with my own hands first before I get to the stage where if I need to use anything else, fantastic.
Yeah.
But I'd like to know exactly what I'm doing.
For sure. And you are clearly a PRS fan.
It's one of those things. I never owned one, and I only played and actually really fell in love with one of them a couple of years ago. But it was the thing of usually they're quite out the price range for most people, or it's one of those ones where you think that's within it, but it's a lot. Do you know what I mean? It's a funny thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The good thing is that it doesn't have the same thickness as a PRS neck. If you look, if we can get a close up of this. This is a good thick neck, and I really love a thick neck. You see the other one?
It's a little bit slimmer, but
slimmer.
it's there. So I mean, there's parts of it where I think for the neck process, I want to refine slightly, slightly round it over a little bit, and just kind of dial that in. But for me, the thick neck works.
And a good strong volute as well.
Yeah, for me,
so
I like
this
it's
is
another
not
part of the craftsmanship that I want to show.
I should say we're playing through the Duelist by RD Custom. awful lot of the tone from a guitar comes from the thickness of the neck.
It's something that, again, I'm sure there's going to be people arguing with us all over this, but
Of course.
I like it. I like a thick neck on my instruments, and again, that's a personal taste completely for
Yeah,
me, you know.
yeah.
But it's nice to see some people as well that enjoy it.
Yeah.
But as far as the chunk aspect of it goes, it fits well with me. It fits as a comfortable neck. Even the volume, even if you're resting, it's nice for your thumb to sit there.
It's a
not
very
the purpose.
comfortable guitar, and as I said, the volute gives you that feel in the middle of a gig. You know where
it's
you
there.
are.
And that's honestly a part of it. I'm not a gigging musician by any means, but it's a practical aspect.
Totally.
Even the aspect of the weight of it, it's heavy. It's a lot
not
hefty
actually that heavy
compared. Yeah.
compared to a lot of guitars I've played, especially guitars with thick necks. Very pretty guitar, very nice guitar. We've got another one here,
Indeed.
which is the drop top.
Yep. So that's a maple drop top.
Nice wood.
Yeah.
Lovely wood grain.
It was one of those things that I ended up getting it on one of Lewis Realty Customs works at David Dyke's Luther Supplies,
Yeah.
and it was a flash sale they had on some maple tops, and I thought, I'll take it.
Go for it,
excellent. So I made
yeah.
one. Made my dad a Strat with a similar top, and I thought, yeah, I'll do the exact same. Wanted to stain it, but nothing too crazy, so I had that kind of gold desert burst aspect.
It's a lovely looking colour. Really is a very pretty. It's almost tortoiseshell.
It's almost that aspect. I wanted to keep him with the hues of the neck and the body.
Yeah.
And again, it was that part that, again, going with the arch top,
Yeah.
I wanted to keep the full drop top thickness, so I think it's about 7.5 mil, but I've actually bent that over the forearm carve in the body, so that,
That's very clever.
and the idea being that rather than necessarily adding binding where you can kind of hide a thinner top, I wanted to show that it, sort of sanding that back to reveal the natural
Yeah,
wood kind of gives
of
it
course.
that framing, which again links into parts of the carve, the pickup surrounds and various other things. So trying to like think of as much about why I'm doing something with an instrument compared to anything else.
Something I've noticed with your guitars is that they have a very natural finish on them.
Yep.
They're not completely flat, which is a nice thing because they're wood. And you want a guitar to look like a piece of wood.
There are aspects with the finish that I tried a new thing. Usually I've used hard wax oil, which is really easy to apply, great for fretboards, and it does give either a really smooth satin or really high gloss, depending on how you work it.
Right.
But in winter it doesn't do well. So
Yeah.
I thought I'm going to try a wipe on poly just to see. And the funny thing is, from coming down from Glasgow 5 days ago to being here today,
Yeah.
you can see even though the grain's been filled, you do have some of that grain starting to sink a little bit.
Which I love.
Which isn't a bad thing by any means. pickups were made originally by Jake Parkhurst at number 19 pickups, and I wanted them to be influenced by John Birch's Tony Iommi's from back in the day. And the thing is, he ran with it. So the neck pickup is a 9k output, 5 or 6 Henrys, and the bridge is about 14k as a P90. Like, they're huge.
So effectively, what we've got is 3 single coils.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Just a bit of a wider sound when you really want to have that punch. And I'm using a neck position player.
Yeah.
But on my Strat that I have sort of Gilmore-esque voiced single coils. And it's that thing, as soon as you go to position 2 or 4 and you can bring in all 3 of them with that little switch.
Yeah.
They do have that same thing, so I really wanted to get the dynamic range of those mids and the sort of bassier warmth that you get without having shrill aspects.
Totally, and I do have to try this 14k bridge pickup, because that is probably going to be... I think this is great. I think you should stick with the idea of showing the grain.
Okay.
Make that your thing, because nobody else does it.
Yeah.
Great idea. Very, very thoughtful Lighthouse instruments. I really hope you enjoyed that. Obviously, Ben is a one-man band working out of a very small area, and I think it was great to have him at the show. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back with more soon. In the meantime, you take good care.